So, if it's not obvious already from my other Dossier videos, I'm a bit of a fan of characters and factions that are enigmatic and powerful. There's something about the lore of entities whose power and the very nature of their existence sometimes being something almost beyond comprehension that's just interesting to me. Of course, they're not totally incomprehensible since writers came up with them in the first place, but still. And lately, I've been replaying the Mass Effect trilogy through the Legendary Edition, so I figured I might as well use this as a chance to talk about the extensive lore of the Mass Effect universe. And on top of that, I figured why not start with the big villains of the series? Which means, of course, spoilers for all of Mass Effect ahead. These are the Reapers. The Reapers are an ancient race of fully sentient machines. They were created with the purpose of appearing within the Milky Way galaxy every 50,000 years or so to harvest the advanced civilizations of the galaxy and merge them with Reaper technology, leaving the galaxy empty and ready for new species to rise from the ashes, completely ignorant of the harvest until it's too late. Now, in regards to why exactly the Reapers do this, well, this is where we get into the admittedly poor writing of Mass Effect 3. Most of the answers as to why come from the Star Child at the very end of the game. Essentially, one of, if not the first organic species to become a spacefaring empire, known as the Leviathans, noted how the lesser species of the galaxy would regularly advance and that the creation of artificial intelligence was something of an inevitable consequence of this. Every time a species created an AI race, that race would end up becoming fully sentient and rebel, causing death and destruction to the organic races. In an attempt to stop this, they created the Star Child, which I know they call the Intelligence, but Star Child sounds way better. The Star Child was an AI of unimaginable intelligence and sentience, and they made it as the master of the Citadel. Its initial purpose was to serve as a mediator between organics and AI, trying to find a solution to prevent any future wars of AI rebellion and organic extinction. This proved to be the Leviathan's own downfall, however, as the Star Child saw its creators as part of the problem. The Star Child concluded that organic life on its own would ultimately destroy itself, and as such it needed to be preserved, by force if necessary. The Leviathans were the first species harvested by the Star Child, used them to create what would be known as the Reapers. The Reapers are primarily synthetic life forms. They are the result of attempting to merge organic and synthetic life into one being. The collective memories, minds, and experiences of the Leviathans were merged into synthetic forms made in their image. While the Reapers turned out to be extremely powerful and intelligent, they were not what the Star Child wanted. They were an imperfect attempt at creating a harmonious synthesis between the two types of life forms. While they did not turn out to be what was initially desired, they proved useful in the future harvesting of other organic races. Their armor and weaponry outclasses all other technology. Their bodies can only be penetrated by immense amounts of firepower focused on a single Reaper, and even then it takes an extensive amount of time to destroy the Reaper once the armor is broken. In contrast, the Reapers wield laser cannons that can rip apart some of the strongest ships in a single blast. These cannons are also used to level cities when Reapers land on the planets below. The arguably strongest weapon in the Reaper arsenal, however, is the power of the Reaper's own will, known as indoctrination. Maintaining a presence to Reaper technology will cause one without strong enough mental defenses to begin to hear whispers, have thoughts implanted in their head, and suffer hallucinations. Through this process, which can take longer or shorter depending on the proximity and the specific technology present, organics are brought to support and eventually come to worship the Reapers and their harvest, prompting Reaper cults to appear that try to expedite the harvesting process. The Reapers are not necessarily an innately aggressive species, at least not in the traditional sense. Reapers turn hostile when their plans for harvesting are resisted. Those who fall under the Reaper's power, or simply choose to accept this merger of organic and synthetic, are simply taken in, perhaps even used as conduits to extend Reaper influence over another race, similar to how the Reaper Harbinger used the Collectors to try and take out Shepard. Beyond this, Reapers tend to sit back and allow things to develop with minor influence from them until the time to harvest has arrived. During this time before their first arrival, Reapers will intentionally spread their technology as artifacts to create Reaper cults that sabotage the state of the galaxy before the Reapers finally arrive. Generally speaking, Reapers look down on other life forms. They believe themselves to be the total apex of creation, despite the fact that the Star Child itself believes the Reapers to be a failure at its ultimate goal of perfect synthesis. And those are the Reapers. There's definitely a lot more in the Mass Effect universe I can make videos on, but I figured that starting off with the big villain of the trilogy made sense. I also just really need to do this for my own sake, since I've been binging the trilogy again because of the Legendary Edition. I haven't been recording it, so this is the next best thing, really. Who knows, maybe I'll record my second playthrough and do reviews then. Either way, this has been TheRatMan, and I will see you all later. Lastly, a special thank you shout out to my Patreon with a $5 a month pledge is a sad old man eating Pringles by himself. Thank you for the $5.